Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah.
In 1985, the BBC told the story of Minnie Cooper. The 21-year-old had been in institution since he was 8, after setting fire to his own home.
I just walked in, there was a whole box of matches. So I said, this is too much temptation.
Free for the first time as an adult, he was struggling to fit into society.
Everything I do gets reported back to the Home Office. And only when those restrictions are lifted will I really be free.
40 Minutes On revisits the original documentary and finds out what's happened since.
I just reached the point where I couldn't cope anymore. I went to a factory yard, set fire to some wooden crates, and for that I received a life sentence.
We're eating chopsticks up, you know, and you've got to put some oil somewhere on to get a shed on fire, or at least build...
Minnie was first filmed by the BBC in 1975, while he was at the Aycliffe Assessment Centre.
I was attracted to Minnie because I identified with him. I mean, he was like a Billy the Kid character. Minnie has this sort of effect on people who don't like the status quo determining how people should live.
All come in with I hate the devil, right? Right.
I was bowled over by it, absolutely stunned by it. I thought it was an astonishing portrait of a complex and very sad child who had such intelligence and such personality as a child. He was trying to find his own individuality.
You feel it's better to be like you?
Yes, it's getting us into trouble, but still I'm not going to let everyone just say this and say that.
10 years later, filmmaker Philippa Walker became interested in following up Minnie's story for 40 Minutes.
What I'm attracted to as a filmmaker is the subject of identity, and Minnie, at the point that I made my film, was about to discover who he was, in a sense, in that he was going from the institution into the world.
All these years in psychiatric care, what have they done for him? He's actually left high and dry. I thought it was one of the saddest films that we made, but it was also a film of enormous impact. It was a film that, I think it was about third or fourth in my series, made, in a sense, people sit up and think, hey, 40 Minutes has got something special.
In 40 Minutes' time, we'll catch up with Minnie today. But first, the original 1985 documentary.
And I just saw, glanced a box of matches, and I was standing there, and there was a whole box of matches standing on the mantelpiece. I said, I'll have them. So I just, you know, this cupboard, I just walked in, and there was a cupboard full of papers, and also I said, this is too much temptation. I wasn't meaning to build a house there, you know, I said, this is too much temptation, it's got to happen. And, you know, it goes in my mind, I can't get rid of it, so I said, all right, I'll do it. Then I lit the matches and free.
At the age of 8, Michael Cooper, known as Minnie, began starting fires. Finally, he set fire to his own house while his father was asleep. 10 years ago, he was the subject of a BBC documentary, but was not allowed to see the film. Today, he's seeing it for the first time.
He came out on the roof without on, and all the ladies.
Minnie has had plenty of time to consider his actions. He spent more than half his life in institutional care.
What do you mean when you said that it was too much temptation?
You know, it just goes in my mind, you've got to do it, I've got to make that fire in that. So I do this.
Yeah. Do you often get that temptation?
Aye. A lot of times. Like, for nicking in that. Because it goes in and says it's a great thing, you know, as if I really want to do it, I think it's a great thing, that's what happens.
What's crazy about the whole thing is that I showed a lot of insight as to what I was doing. But I didn't show any attempt to stop what I was doing. Which is a question that's bugged me, and I've often asked myself, was I insane? Well, not quite as strong as that, but was there something missing? Because for a guy to be able to show as much insight, a guy should be able to make attempts to stop. He shouldn't be doing it, you know? It just shouldn't be happening. If you can show that much insight as to why you're doing a thing, then it shouldn't be carrying on.
you do anything special with the stuff to make it burn better?
Well, it depends what kind of a fire I'm having.
There's different kinds of fires.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference then? Can you explain the difference?
I could be setting a shed on fire, I could be having a little stick fire.
What's the difference between a shed and a stick?
Where you can chop sticks up, and you've got to sort of squirt, you've got to put some oil or something on to get a shed on fire. Or at least build it up with paper and things like that, and then set it all on fire. It gives time for the wood to go up.
What kind of oil do you mean?
Not 3-in-1 oil.
Mm-hmm.
Just squirt certain places and set it all.
I didn't know that burned.
Did. It's very good stuff.
I didn't realise he gave it that much thought. I didn't realise that actually went into that much detail. As if I knew every way of getting the exact effect that I want. From what I can remember sort of now, I thought I just sort of got a box of matches and set something on fire.
Mm.
Now that's what you do. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a good thing to do?
Mm. To me it is, but to other people it's not.
To other people it's not. Can you understand their point of view when you say that?
Because people don't like having fires set all over the place.
Mm. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
And do you not want to agree with them?
Don't agree with them. I think I should be able to set a fire if I want to.
If you feel like doing it, you feel you should be able to do it.
Huh? If they want to stop us, wait till the fire's gone, then put it out.
Although what I was doing was serious, I just knew how far I could go, you know? I mean, as I say, the fire in the house, I didn't know my father was there. Had I done it, I can't imagine for 1 minute I'd have done it, you know, really. Although, the nastier side of it is, maybe I would have done.
I want to know more interesting things, like why. And you may not be able to tell me the things I really want to know. In fact, I don't suppose you will be able to.
Really? Then that's what you want.
I mean, if I said, you tell me what's exciting about fires, you'd find that an impossible question to answer, I expect.
You kind of sat there and he sat there, and you know why he sat there, because he's going to make all kinds of deductions. And you're going to pick up on everything you say, and this is in your head.
One flame is much like another.
You're thinking, what's he going to do? What's he going to make a report? He's going to put this report to somebody else, and what they're going to say. So you tend to think a lot.
If you did it simply to enjoy the flames, why not set fire to somebody else's house instead of your own? Did that occur to you?
No.
There's more to it than liking flames.
In view of the history of antisocial behavior and the serious risk that Michael presents to himself and to the community, he will require long-term treatment under conditions of physical security. In our view, Michael's problems are such that we cannot entertain, for his sake and for the sake of the public, to let him roam around freely in the community. Do you agree? Right.
I think if I may say so, the thing that struck me about the whole of that thing is, believe it or not, those people were right. I mean, so like 5 years after that being made, I ended up in a state of mental hospital. So to a degree, they were right. I mean, they said if something isn't done, this guy's going to go from bad to worse. And I did.
Minnie couldn't cope with institutional life and ran away again and again. While hungry and on the run, he tried to steal money from his old school and was sent to Moss Side, a high-security psychiatric hospital in Liverpool. At only 15, he found himself locked up with the criminally insane.
He was in serious trouble when he came here as a young boy. The criteria for admission is very strictly laid down. Patients have either got to be dangerous, violent, or have criminal propensities. So one would assume that if a patient is sent here, he falls into that category.
It was like a prison, only with nurses instead of prison warders. And for the first sort of few weeks, you got a lot of time to yourself. You're kind of under observation. And I spent 3 days just in a room, three whole days, and you've got a lot of time to think. And I did quite a lot of things. In fact, I did nothing but think. I mean, you kind of get flashbacks to sort of like 5 years ago, flashbacks to sort of like 3 years ago. All the time you're thinking. To me, going to Moss Side was the complete climax to my life, if you like. A complete screw-up, you know. I thought, well, I mean, I've really hit the big time here, you know, for screwing up. I mean, I must be top of the league.
Obviously, the authorities thought that if he'd have been placed in an open hospital, he might have absconded at that particular time. Of course, you can only treat the patient if you've got him here. And we wanted to treat him, so that's probably why I was sent to a secure environment.
I was in Moss Side for about 4.5 years. For about 2 years, I didn't go out any time at all. Constant security. At the time, I couldn't understand why they sent me there. I still don't. Authorities felt I needed security, and plenty of it. There's not a lot of places that can provide that security for 15-and-a-half-year-old people. I've never been a violent person. I've never harmed anybody in my entire 21 years. You know, I've never caused physical harm to a single person.
It's certainly, in the relationship I had with him, I never found him to be dangerous. Whilst I was with Michael, he was always very, very friendly and outgoing, plenty of personality. But by then, we'd found an interest.
All right, good morning, gentlemen. I'm going to show you a few little tricks now. There's an old man in Las Vegas, he's 83, and he gets the deck of cards and he shuffles it like that, and then he cuts the cards, and after all that shuffling and cutting, if he wants an ace, all he does is cut the cards. He can cut to an ace like that. All he's got to do is cut the cards, and there's an ace. He doesn't even look at his hands go right to the aces because they know exactly where they are. Mind you, he's 83 and has been practising for 80 years. I'm only 28, I've only been practising for 8 years, so I can't do that trick. If I was really a magician, a real magician, I would be able to take any card from the deck. There's the Queen of Hearts. Keep an eye on the Queen of Hearts. A lot of people think I swap it for another one. Look, there's the Queen of Hearts. All we do is that, and it changes into an ace. Not bad, is it? Better than digging roads, isn't it? Yeah. I was performing at one of the functions in the hospital, and Michael was there. And after it was over, he came, and he said that he was interested in magic, and would I mind showing him some? I thought it was just a general interest, but later on he became, you know, really keen on sleight of hand magic, practised a lot. And he was a quick learner with his magic, was Michael, and he caught on very quickly.
Something else that you were cooking. An apron.
Minnie is now out of Moss Side. At the age of 19, he was sent to a rehabilitation unit, from which he was conditionally discharged last year. His firelighting habit, a thing of the past. He lives in Mansfield in a local authority hostel for ex-mental patients. Even though he's been released, all his movements must still be referred to a social worker and a psychiatrist. Under Home Office rules, he can be recalled to hospital at any time.
Everything I do gets reported back to the Home Office. I mean, if I spat off the end of here, the Home Office could send me back. It's really, you know, like that. One of the conditions of being let out is the liability to recall. They can recall me like that any time, any day. If they think that in their opinions I'm not fit or safe to be out on the streets anymore, then they can call me back. And only when those restrictions are lifted will I really be free.
Minnie has found it a struggle returning to the outside world. At 21, he's had little contact with ordinary people and no practical experience of everyday life. He lives on social security and pins his hopes for the future on finding work as a magician. Last Christmas, a month after being let out, he got a job performing in the local pantomime. which whetted his appetite for a life in show business.
People say to me, Christ, what are you doing wanting to be a magician? You've got no chance, you've been in institutions all your life. You know, I feel it's not an impossibility. You see, they have a brainwashing system in institutions. I mean, they've got to make you feel a failure. They've got to make you feel as though you're good for nothing, you know. You're here, and while you're here, you do what we say. And, you know, when people are telling you this, you sort of think, well, am I bloody mad? I mean, is up here really distorted? Have I got wires loose, you know? And it's like being brainwashed because you're kind of drumming it in all the time. Well, I mean, I've always thought of myself as being normal. I mean, and people so far have told me that I'm intelligent and perfectly ordinary human being. And now people are beginning to say, well, perhaps we're not all that sure. Perhaps we were wrong in saying he was intelligent, normal. And this is what goes through your mind. And that's why it can be very dangerous in that place, because you've got to decide what you're going to believe. Are you going to believe what everybody's saying you are, or are you going to believe what you think you are and think what you might be?
Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Love you more than I can say. Love you twice as much tomorrow. Whoa, whoa, love you more than I can say. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. I miss you every single day. I thought my life was filled with sorrow. Whoa, whoa, love you more than I can say. Don't you know I love you so? Tell me please, I've got to know.
Well, now we come to the highlight of the evening. A young man who's filling clubs everywhere. I'd like you to put your hands together and welcome the fabulous Mr. Johnny Oddball.
Good evening. Oh, quick. I'm going to ask questions later, so you're going to have to be quick. It's great, this place. I'm not used to all the sophistication. The last time I was here, they made me wipe my feet on the way out. Do you know, I've got to take this off. I feel stupid wearing this. Do you know, if my mother saw me wearing this hat, she'd think I'm going to take it off. I got the air free with the socks. My mum doesn't like it though. She said, grow up, stupid, so I did. A little trick, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, a handkerchief, a blue one, that used to be a red one. And a red one, that used to be a blue one. You've seen this before, haven't you? Yeah. I'm going to place the bag, silks into the bag, and we're going to do an amazing trick. I'm going to make the silks change colour. Maestro. Oh, I like see-through wig. Could I have a drum roll, please? Ladies and gentlemen, the handkerchiefs have changed colour. Look at that. The red's changed back to blue, and the blue's changed back to red. Amazing. You like that, yeah? I tell you what, to prove it wasn't a fluke, I'll do it again. There we go. Anyway, I'll get the sort into the bag. Now then, a little poem. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Each donates constancy, love, that is true. But lilies, for purity, they're mostly white. And I saw lilies on the line last night. What a sight! Alright, enjoy the shower.
Nice, huh?
It's
great, aren't you? Fantastic. Good for me.
I'll just close the door.
I'll tell you.
There you go.
Sit yourself down. There, you've done well.
You enjoyed it then?
First time I've ever seen you live.
The devil is a silent fox. If I could catch him, I'd put him in a box. I'd lock the box and throw away the key for all the tricks he's played on me. I hate the devil. I hate the devil. I hate the devil. He is so bad to me.
No, but
I mean to say we're proud of you.
I thought about it yesterday.
Very proud of you.
Well,
very proud.
I'm just glad you enjoyed the show.
Yes. And what I mean to say is, you come on and did well for yourself anyway.
Well, yeah.
You could. I didn't say well you did anything bad.
Tempted to sometimes.
I hope you come and sit with us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got to get changed.
We get changed, then come and sit with us.
I feel as though I'm a person of my own, really, because that's how I've grown up. That's how I've developed. On my own, outside family life. If somebody was to say, do you love your father, I think I'd probably say no. Or my mother. I just think we've lived so far apart, all the time, for the past 13 years, yeah? It's not as if they're like my father as everybody else's father.
Oh, you've just come off work again, have you?
Yeah.
You as well. Coming in early this morning.
No, son. Been a good lad?
Aye. I got this from Sean.
Got this from Sean, wasn't it?
It's a dog.
I don't think I was what he thought I would be at that age, sort of thing. I mean, he wanted me to play for England. I couldn't even play football, yeah?
I'll see you between 7 and 8 tomorrow night. Sunday night, sorry. Right?
Okay.
And he thought I was a puff because I did the singing. He actually thought I was gay. In fact, he questioned me about it many times. When we were in the car alone.
We've got to look after you the best we can. And when we got you put in there, we didn't do it to get you locked away purposely, that we didn't want you. It wasn't because of that. We're doing our best by sending you to school, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, we didn't lock you away. You know, we don't hate you.
One of the things my dad used to really enjoy doing, there's a bit in there where he says, well, if you do something wrong, we've got to report it. He used to really sort of, the ogre would come out when he'd say it, you know? It's as if he really wanted to sort of say, hey, you know, I'm going to have you, you know? And I felt he got a kind of kick out of telling me that, because he was always telling me it.
Now, you know when I take you back and you misbehave at home?
Yeah.
And then I take you back on a Sunday night, don't I?
Yeah.
Now, I must report anything you do wrong, you see?
Yeah.
You know. Then by me reporting you, it's helping you. It's not me going against you. It's helping you.
Yeah, I know that.
We've got to live in here with them 4 children every day. So what we've got to do, we've got to have some law and order in this house that suits us. And if they do wrong, they've got to be punished. And I'll always punish them if they do wrong. Hard. And I'll punish them hard. If they've done wrong, I'll punish them hard.
For us to be having the fiction
I'll
about
punish them hard. There's no doubt about that. You see, I'd been brought up that if I did wrong, I got hit. And I got hit hard. But I didn't hold that against me dad. Because I knew that was the way my dad treated me. If I did wrong, he made punishment fit the crime. Right? I made a mistake by using that system. And it's not the first time I've admitted that. I've admitted it to a lot of people. I used the wrong system. I couldn't understand you. I tried always to understand you, and I just couldn't. And it got to the stage where I was going to work, I was getting called out the pit to come and see where you were. We had to go to police. Sometimes we had to sit for hours on end in police station while they questioned you. And how many times did I try and talk to you in a reasonable manner and say, look, one of these days you're going to get caught.
Although he has appeared in court on only one occasion, Michael has been stealing and committing offences of arson from an early age. During his time at Redwood Hall, Michael absconded 18 times. He received regular psychiatric oversight throughout this period. Michael comes from a home where there are reports of considerable problems in the family. He started wandering, then running away from home when 3 years old.
What was the row about?
I don't know.
Is it...
My dad just went off, you know, down the beach and left my man behind, so she says, wait, we'll go back. So I got in the car and he started to strangle her and she got out and I came back here.
When you say he started to strangle her, what do you mean? He really got her by the throat?
We fight a lot, normally.
We argue, you know what I mean?
Don't get along very well.
We're both very...
Sometimes we do, but...
like, difference of opinions, you know. If I think it should be this and Kathleen thinks it should be the other. You know, none of us will give. Michael was the one that thought, I'm going to have it my way. And I was exactly the same as Michael. It's going to be my way. And at the same time... Oh, you're going to have something to say there.
I wasn't. I was just listening to you, actually.
At the same time, I think Michael had a system that he was perfectly right in what he'd done.
You've got to remember, you know, he was only 11.
He's only 11, I know that. But he was a very...
He was a very grown-up little boy
Grown-up little boy in some ways.
Grown up enough in others.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kathleen, yeah. I agree with that, what you say there. I think that would be the best way of putting it, the way your mum's put it. He was a clever lad.
Think about it. Think about the birth of the baby and what a marvellous thing it is. And all the different things that happen through life that you can't understand. It takes a better brain than what ours are, you know? I mean, he knows what's in people's minds and why they do different things.
I know, mind.
I know you do. But you're not the only one that does. God can see into your mind. Well, I believe that. Because, I mean, there's far too much happens that you can't understand.
Never works out for me.
There's got to be another person better than what we are.
Never works out for me. Doesn't do one for me yet.
I know you
Well,
don't
that's
feel
your
any
religion.
Pet, but that's the way you've been brought up.
That's the way we try to bring you, maybe.
And if you wanted to, you know, you could understand it and follow it. Couldn't you know?
I don't like following them kind of things.
What kind of
But
things?
why? Tell me why. Tell me a proper reason why. Just
Have you got a
not
proper
I don't
reason
know.
Why you don't want to follow
I
it?
don't like it.
You don't like it? Right.
And why don't you like it?
Why don't you like it?
I've never seen God.
Well, you
Neither have
can't.
I, but I
Neither
believe
have
him.
That's right.
You can't believe in anybody if you've never seen them.
Oh, but you can. Look what he said to Downton Thomas.
Who? I'm not a person that lets everyone just say this and say, right, we're sticking with this and that's it.
You don't let other people
telling me what we're sticking at and what we're doing. If I don't agree, I say I don't like doing it.
You have your own opinions, strongly. Whereas other people who don't get into bother
don't have their opinions strongly.
Now, what do you think's better then? This is what I'm getting at. You feel it's better to be like you?
Yes, it's getting us into trouble, but still, I'm not going to let everyone just say this and say that.
I think had we been, I mean, looking at it now, I mean, we can see, you know, you can see now where you went wrong.
Oh, I've admitted that. I know where I went wrong, but I don't think I let him down. Because if
I'd understood more then, maybe, I would have probably been able to understand why you're acting that way. You know, I can understand it now, but I couldn't understand it then because I just didn't have the time.
He's been a good lad. He's been as usual. We never get in trouble on the weekend.
I know we'll write you this week.
So,
right.
Be good lad. Thank you very much.
Come on, man. It's a good lad.
What I do resent them for, and what angers me, is the fact that when we've talked about this, they pass it off. It's nothing, it's happened. You deserved it, you know. It's not our fault. Who the bloody hell set the fire? Who bloody hell did this? It's nothing to do with us, pal. I get so angry sometimes, I can't even explain it, you know what I mean? You just want to accept any part in it. This is, you know? And it's so annoying when you think that everything's been passed over to you. And it can't be. It can't happen, you know?